He has been speaking about RERA for quite some period of time. He has got tremendous knowledge and experience on this subject. He is going to take us through with the latest, the thing which has come up is the deviation report, which is a bottleneck for all of us to get the registration in time. Because this is new, all of us are not fully aware how to handle that situation. So the deviation report for agreement for sales and allotment letter is a topic which requires immediate attention of all the professional brothers and sisters. So we are taking up this as the first topic for the forum so that we can initiate the discussion on this subject. We'll be having a presentation by Ashwin Shah sir. After that, we'll be having the question answer sessions to be attended by all of us. So friends, once again, a hearty welcome to all of you to be a part of the forum for the benefit of everybody. Let us help each other by joining hands together under the banner of the forum. We'll formalize the structure of the forum over a period of time. We are on that and we'll be updating you from time to time about the developments. Ashwin, I think it's time that you take over. Thank you so much for the patient listening. Ashwin, you can start the presentation. Thank you.
Am I audible now, Sunil?
Yeah, perfectly audible. Yes.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Sunil, for a nice introduction. Friends, request to all the participants, those who are joining the participant should mute themselves because a lot of noise is coming. Friends, all will agree that in last 2 months, we have been facing many areas while registering a project in terms of various queries which are raised by the MahaRERA. So far as we people, we are in Mumbai, so we can certainly go and physically visit the MahaRERA and get the queries sorted out. But as far as the rest of Maharashtra is concerned, it is sometimes very difficult for practitioner to approach MahaRERA or to have a communication with MahaRERA for exactly knowing what they want and what is the query. So the major query are coming in terms of a new guideline, that is the deviation report for agreement for sale and allotment letter. So these are the new features introduced by MahaRERA. Before we go into the today's topic, after the resumption of office by the current chairperson, Honorable Chairperson Sri Ajay Mehta, since March 2021, he has tried to invent many new circulars and order whereby he wanted to bring the transparency in the operation of the developer. He wanted developer to give more and more details to the allottee so that allottee, please mute yourself. Who is there? Please mute.
उधर है क्या पूछो और दीपा मैडम.
Yeah. So he wanted more and more transparency. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So he wanted more and more transparency for the allottee so that allottee can understand the exact nature of information and then take an informed decision. So now this deviation report for agreement for sale and allotment letter we will discuss today. Yeah. Now direction for agreement for sale. Now, if we look at section 13, which prescribes that model agreement has to be given by the respective state government, and accordingly, by way of a rule 10, Maharashtra government has introduced a model agreement which is available on the MahaRERA website. We will go through that model agreement. There is one annexure A called model agreement. Now, there is one explanatory note attached to that model agreement. Now, what does that explanatory note means? When we go to the model agreement, I will explain you. Okay, this model agreement can be changed. It is not that it is a watertight compartment. It can be changed by the buyer as well as by the developer, because ultimately law of contract will prevail. Yeah, provided that change cannot go beyond the law, that is act, rules, regulation, etc. Now there is while introducing allotment letter, this model agreement was introduced right from 2017, and there is no change in the model agreement. But there was no allotment letter prescribed by Maharashtra government till 3rd June 2022. So by order number 30, they introduced allotment letter. Now they say that the promoter should either adopt this allotment letter or they can have their own allotment letter. But then whatever is a deviation has to be separately reported, has to be colored marked, so that allottee will come to know, okay, this is the deviation. So again, but that order 30 was replaced by order 31 on 1st July 2022. We will go to order 31. Now order 31 talks about the maximum percentage of forfeiture, because till now under Act, rules and regulation, we don't have a guideline for how much can be the maximum forfeiture amount whenever a customer goes voluntarily for cancellation. Because what has happened after COVID, many customers find it difficult to continue with the project because of their cut in the salary, because of their job loss or business loss. So they approach the developer for cancellation, and at that point of time, some of the developer have asked for 5 to 10%, more than 10%, or even sometimes they say whatever you have paid is forfeited. So to bring a proper guideline, now MahaRERA says that maximum can be 2%. So in order 31, what they have prescribed is you can't go beyond 2%. You can come down below 2%. You can, then you have to refund the money within 45 days. So you can reduce this days, but you cannot increase this days. So after voluntary cancellation, developer is bound to refund with money within 45 days. So under order 31, the MahaRERA says you can reduce these days, you can reduce the interest, you can reduce the rate of forfeiture, that is less than 2%, but you can't increase it. But again, as we know, we have many developer organization, they are SRO also. So once this order 31 came, they approached the MahaRERA and they had their own grievances on this order 31. So again, this order 31 was replaced by order 35. Now here, that limitation of 2% higher cap has been removed by the MahaRERA. So now, if a developer and allottee agrees, then there can be a 10% forfeiture. It is possible. There can be a 10% forfeiture. So we'll go through order 31 as well as order 35 when I go to that particular order. So now order 30 and 31 are superseded by order 35, which is of 12th August 2022. The Annexure A allotment letter remains the same. Only thing is the guidelines. They have removed that cap of 2%. This is what the developer have represented before the MahaRERA, and accordingly some changes are made, right? So we also, being a chartered accountant, we should also represent our difficulty, especially for form number 3 and 5 before MahaRERA in writing, so that they understand it and they remove some of the anomalies in form 3 and 5. Now order 30, 31 is superseded. Now what they exactly mean is how you have to do the deviation. So for example, there is a deviation in agreement for sale for a particular paragraph. So you have to color mark it, either yellow, blue, whatever color mark, it should be legible. So you have to color mark that. And now they require one more thing, which is though not in the circular or the order, but they say okay, on your letterhead, you note down the point. Say for example, point number 1, I say okay, change in the payment schedule. So that para you have to write, and change in the payment schedule is my deviation. I have to color mark also that. So accordingly, I have to upload now on under deviation tab. Regular agreement I will upload in my regular agreement tab. Color marked agreement I will upload in my deviation report tab, and plus this letterhead also I will upload in my deviation tab only. So this is applicable for both agreement for sale as well as allotment letter. So wherever there is any deviation, you have to color mark it. For example, there are some new item in your agreement for sale or in the allotment, then that also you have to color mark it. And in your letterhead, you have to mention these are the additional item other than the model agreement or model allotment letter. Now, initially when they introduce model agreement or model allotment letter and the deviation report, so this allotment letter and agreement were available on public view, but the deviation report was not available in right from August 22. So when we brought this thing before the to the notice of the legal team of the MahaRERA, then they immediately, because ultimate intention is for the allottee to read this deviation, understand this deviation, and accordingly take the informed decision. So now public view is enabled. So now today on MahaRERA portal, we have only Form 3, which is not a public view document. It is a private document. Otherwise, all the documents are now public document, except PAN number or some crucial information like mobile number or email ID of the promoter. All the things are now public view is enabled. Now, for registration process also, they have issued one circular. Now, what they say is, okay, as soon as you make make the application for project registration, then they will find out the mismatch. If there are some queries and if there are some mismatch, then it would be treated as an incomplete application. Say, for example, I have uploaded one application on 1st November, and on 10th November, I received the email from the MahaRERA stating that these are the queries. Then my application would be incomplete till the time I submit back to MahaRERA. Suppose then I resubmit on 15th November, then the count would be from 15th November, because under section 5, if I don't get my registration within 30 days of application, then it would be a deemed registration. So that deemed registration timeline would start from the date on which we file the valid application. Now, valid application means which is free from all the queries. So what will happen? MahaRERA will identify the mismatch. They will term it as an incomplete application and they will send back to the applicant. Now, what applicant is required to do? He has to go through all the information. On the home page, we get all the queries. Then there is one resubmit button also in the payment tab. Once I complete, I re-upload all the document, correct the information, then I will resubmit it. Then after resubmission, if it is found to be okay, then it goes to the next level. So today we have 4 levels at MahaRERA: level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. So at level 1, majority of the queries are now getting satisfied. Previously, level 1 was a clerical level where the applications are gathered and it goes to level 2 for technical verification. But now MahaRERA has not only technical verification, legal verification, financial verification, third party verification also. We will come to that aspect, how that third party verification is done. So now level 1, most of the verification are done. Then it goes to level 2, where some technical verification is done. So these 2 levels are very crucial. Once this level are crossed, then it goes to level 3, which is generally a secretary level verification. Generally, no queries are raised at secretary level unless it is apparent that there are some mistake. And level 4 is a chairman approval. So once level 3 is crossed, then it goes to level 4, and then chairman approves it. You get a information that certificate is generated and an email is received. So after resubmission, if everything is okay, then it will go to the next level. That is, if it is on level 1, then it will go to level 2. Now what happens if it is not okay? Then again the same process, second time. Again MahaRERA will send you one email saying that you look back, there are some queries. So again, the applicant will have to go through the queries. They have to go for resubmission. Here, for the second time, if they feel that they need some help desk help, then they can call on the help desk. But to most of the experience, these LDEPs are not working. So again, we have to do our best analysis and file a resubmission. So this is second chance we are getting for resubmission. After resubmission, if it is okay, then it will go to next level. If it is not okay, then now they have introduced a concept of open house. Now, what is this open house? Some of the builder association and then a RERA officer would be there in that office, open house, and you will get a mail with a link to join. This open house are fixed on a particular date, so days. So there you have to attend. You can directly have a conversation with the technical officer, legal officer for your queries, and after that you have to resubmit within 7 days. So again you get a third chance that after open house you have to submit within 7 days. If okay, then it will go to next level. If it is not okay, so now this is very much important. If it is not okay, then they will close it. They will treat it as an incomplete, invalid application, and this application will get closed. So thereafter you will not receive any query. So you may be wondering, okay, even after open house, I have not received any query. But if it is not okay, then you have to approach MahaRERA and understand what is the exact query. Now here they are giving one more chance. They are giving two chance to the promoter even after the failure after the open house. So what are that chance? That if I do not file within 7 days, then for the first instance after 7 days, I will have to pay additional 25% of the project registration fee. For example, project registration fee is 80,000. Then I have to pay 20,000 additional. Then and then only I can have a resubmission. Again, there if it is invalid, then for this second instance, I have to pay 40% of the project registration fee. So after second instance, then there is no chance of it. So friends, we have to be very, very careful. Most of the queries, I'll just, though it is not in today's topic, but I'll just sum up by saying that most of the queries relates to title report, wordings of the title report, flow of the title, then landowner, whether they are made party to the registration or not, then sometimes this deviation report, then even chartered accountant certificate also, they say that on the very first page, you have to write the date also. It is as of which date, then UDIN is required. So all these small things also they are verified. In one of my case for application for change in FSI, we crossed level 2 and then it was at level 3. So I was rest assured, okay, now nothing is going to happen. But next day I saw that again it was at level 2. So then I have to go to MahaRERA and inquire. So there was some technical error from the officer side. There was some transposition error for sold unit. Instead of 277 units sold, he has mentioned 772 units sold. So that percentage came down below 51%. And at secretary level, then that was brought down to -2, level 2. So then again I have to approach. We rectified it, and then it went smoothly. Yeah. Now let us first understand, so far as today's topic is concerned, for contract, that is agreement for sale and allotment letter. As you know, the flow of the booking is like this. Initially, there is a booking form which gets converted after some days into allotment letter, because booking are taken with a token of 51,000, 25,000 like that. Say after 15 days, by paying some more money, you get an allotment letter. And then 30 days, 45 days, as per the policy of the promoter, or if you want to collect more than 10%, then he has to execute agreement. So then there is an agreement for sale. So these are the three process. And in all the three process, who are the stakeholder? Landowner, society, developer, development manager, allottee, and secured creditor. So in our agreement for sale and allotment letter, the allottee is required to go through all the information with regard to all the stakeholders. So these are the parties to the contract, or may not be party to the contract, but their information is quite vital and crucial for allottee to take the decision. Yeah, now important deviation. Now we will go to, I'll just stop this file and I will take another file. So now I was just talking. This order 31, is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So now this order 31, as I said, it has one clause. I'll just show you that clause. This box which I have prepared. In clause 9 of the allotment letter, which prescribe the number of days within which booking can be cancelled and upper limit of percentage to be deducted. So here promoter may, if so chooses, increase the number of days within which the booking can be cancelled and as well as decrease the percentage in the allotment letter. So here I'll just show you point number 9 in the allotment letter. Yeah. So this is the conditions. If I cancel my booking within 15 days of issuance of allotment letter, then no amount is to be deducted. If it is 16 to 30 days, then 1%. 31 to 60 days, it is 1.5%. And after 60 days, it is 2%. So what this order 31 used to say is that the promoter can increase these days. From 15 days, it can make 30 days, but it cannot make 14 days. Same way, this percentage of forfeiture deduction cannot be higher than 2%. This is what order 31 says. But as I said, after the representation has been received, now they change this order. Now I'll show you order 35. Yeah, this order 35, now it does not have that B clause. Now that B clause, see here, after A, there was a B clause in order 31. So which has been removed, right? So now that condition has gone away. So now it is between the, it is a contract between the parties. So if I decide as a allottee, okay, I am okay with 10% forfeiture also, then there is no issue, but it has to be marked as a deviation while uploading allotment in a color mark. So now one can change. This is a purely a commercial contract between two persons, which can be changed. See, there are many changes in agreement for sale and allotment letter, which can be permitted, provided they are within the four corner of law. But if the law is silent on that point, say for example, under RERA Act, forfeiture amount is silent. So that can be decided by the parties. So it can be 2%, it can be 5%, 10%, whatever. It can be 100% also. So now let's go to model agreement. Yeah. Yeah. Who is there? Please mute.
Request kindly
Who is there?
already priced.
Okay, I am muted him.
Deviation.
See, as I was explaining, there is one explanatory note attached to the model agreement. Now, what is this model agreement explanatory note? This is a model form of agreement which may be modified and adapted in each case, having regard to the facts and circumstances. So, here the state government says that you can change the clauses, you can change the wordings, provided it is within the four corner of the provisions of the Act, rules and regulation. Otherwise, if it is inconsistent, then even if it is written in the agreement, say for example, as regards rate of interest, now it is well settled that rate of interest is MCLR plus 2%, SBI MCLR plus 2%. But if the developer says, no, I will charge 18% for delayed this thing, then that clause itself is a void ab initio. It will not have any effect. It is an inconsistent clause. So this is the meaning of the. Now, what can be other deviation? We'll just go through is. Now, one of the area is the RERA carpet area. Now, friends, we all know that customers are not interested in RERA carpet area because RERA carpet area also calculate the area which is below the internal wall. I may not be interested in that. What I am interested in looking at what is the usable carpet area. It may be balcony, it may be dry area, whatever, but which I can use it. I can walk and use it. I can put something, even cupboard also, wardrobe and all these things. So the customers are interested in usable carpet area rather than RERA carpet area. So many developers, they want to mention this usable carpet area. So now this can be modified stating that this is the RERA carpet area, plus there are some additional area which are so and so area which are in accordance with the approved plan. So these are the area which are approved by the plan. It is not that these are unauthorized area or like that. So even open terrace and all this thing that can also be mentioned, but you have to mention the RERA carpet area plus other additional area, means total usable area is this much, correct? Right? So this is also one kind of deviation which needs to be highlighted. Right? Then we come to again here like this. I have the RERA carpet area. So here it is very interesting to note that I cannot charge price for the other areas, though I can mention the other areas which are attached to this flat as per the approved plan, but my pricing would always be based on the consideration amount. Then here I can also charge proportionate area for common area and facility, which generally many developers are not doing it. So again, there would be some deviation here. We will be charging only for RERA carpet area and consideration. That is a box price. So again, this deviation also we need to highlight. Then covered car parking. Again, this may be a deviation if it is not mentioned in the agreement. But now in the new order of 35, now the MahaRERA says that the developer can allot the open parking also. So if the promoter wants to mention the allotment of open parking here, then that would be again deviation. But again, to my mind, the developer cannot allot open parking space, even though there is an order from MahaRERA, because this order is nothing but part of regulation. But regulation cannot go beyond the act and rules. But now we have that order which says that open parking can also be allotted. So later on, after the OC is received, the property is transferred to the society, there can be dispute as regards the open parking space, because open parking space is the prerogative of the society only. Society has right to decide whether by a lottery or by a turn or so, they can allot this to the members of the society, but not the developer. So again, that could be one of the area where deviation can come. Then coming to the payment schedule. Now here also deviation is likely to come, and I have seen many times it is coming, because the customer wants certain percentage. Here the on possession, it is mentioned balance amount which is very low, 95, only 5%. So if I say, I will pay 15% on possession, so that deviation is permitted. Only thing is we have to highlight it. we can provide here deviation based on the amount and the event. We can't say only amount. There should be event also, right? But percentage we can certainly ignore, and we can have amount and the event. So this is also one kind of deviation. Now the price excludes the tax, indirect tax and whatever. Now we have seen in many places there is a box price. 2 BHK 1 crore, that includes stamp duty, registration, taxes, parking, etc. Everything. Means just you have to pay 1 crore, no other charges, and it also includes 12-month maintenance, or maybe 12-month maintenance can be a separate item. But otherwise, all the other charges are included. So that is called inclusive contract. But here model agreement provides for exclusive contract. So again, if that changes there, then we have to highlight this also, right? Then one more interesting item is total price is escalation free. Now developer have become very precautious, because after this COVID, because if they now seek if something like this come in future, and if the activities are altered for say 3-4 years, then the price escalation would be too high, because we have come across many such cases where the booking was done at 5,000 rupees. All the cost, actual cost of land plus construction plus approval, that now today goes say 7,500. So that escalation is not provided. So now in many cases builder wants the escalation based on certain condition. If the project is delayed because of such force measure, then that escalation of 10% per year or whatever may be can apply. So again, this can be one point where we can have a deviation. Now, see what happens once I agree for a RERA carpet area, say 1000 is the RERA carpet area as per agreement. But when I go for the possession, I find that it is 950 carpet area. So model agreement says that if it is up to 3%, then that is allowable variation. Say for example, 1000 3% is 30 square feet. So up to 970, it is an allowable limit. But if it is 950, then for any reduction, that exchange of money has to be done. If it is excess, again, then exchange has to be done. So this applies to reduction as well as excess also, 3% variation. But again, as I said, these are the contract between the parties, and there is no law on this point. So one can go for 3% or 5% or 7% or 1%, but then that has to be mentioned as a deviation. So this is one of the deviation. Yeah, FSI, the most disputed point so far as FSI is concerned, and particularly when there is a layout construction. In case of a standalone building, it would not be a big issue, because building is already constructed in accordance with the available FSI. Plinth is also accordingly made and so on. But if it is a layout, say I have 10 buildings, today I am starting only 2 buildings, I don't know after 4 years what would be FSI ratio. So today it is say 3, tomorrow it may be 4, 5, 6, some incentive comes. So here the care has to be taken by the chartered accountant in advising our client that we are registering the phase of the project, not the project in total. Correct. So this phase today has the FSI of say 3. So for this phase only the FSI of 3 will be applicable. For the rest of the other phases, it is the developer prerogative if FSI increases. But suppose the FSI increase for this phase from 3 to 4, and developer wants to utilize this additional 1 FSI, then he has to undergo that application for change under FSI with consent of 2/3 of the allottee and MahaRERA and so. So again, this clause needs to be properly drafted, and there are chances of deviation, because today also developer writes inconsistent writing that all the future development in FSI shall belong solely to the developer, including this phase and so, but which may not hold good now since RERA has been there. So it would be a difficult situation, and this could also be one of the crucial deviation points. Yeah. So now if the SSE, sorry, not SSE, allottee makes the default in payment, then there are two options available to the developer. He can send the demand notice with interest as per RERA. He can send reminder 1, 2, 3 reminder, and even after 3 reminder, if the allottee is not coming forward and not making the payment, then the option is there for the promoter to terminate his agreement, right? So again, here they have provided that committing default in payment of due date, he can terminate the agreement, but then he has to serve at least 15 days notice to the allottee for his intention to terminate, right? So again, if there is any change in the wording or in the timeline of the, then there has to be 3 default, and finally 15 days notice of intention to terminate. These are the two conditions. So if the developer reduce this 3 default to say 1 default or 4 default, then that is a deviation which needs to be reported. Same way, 15 days, if it is to 5 days or 7 days or 20 days, again it's a deviation. But these are permissible changes because these are not provided in law. So if both the party agree, then there is no issue. So there is one saying in Hindi, if Miya Bibi Raji to kya karega Kaji. So here it is like this. If both the party agrees, then there is no issue. Right? Yeah. The most important is the amenities part. Now here, what they say is, amenities should be either you say this brand we will use, you can provide option of the brand because one brand may not remain in future. So you can provide of the option of the brand, but if you are not providing for the option of the brand, then you have to provide the price range. If it is unbranded, say I am saying kitchen sink, I am not giving any name, then the price range I have to provide. Say 1,000 to 2,000 or 1,500 to 2,000. But I cannot be blank on unbranded item. So either I have to provide brand, I can give the option, and then price range. If I am not able to give the brand, I don't want to give brand today, then I will just provide a price range. Okay, I will give 4,000 rupees item, whatever comes, geyser or whatever is there. So again, the deviation could come because many developers, they try to change this clause. So one has to be very careful. See what happens now after so many litigations and delay in the litigation. Now the allottee also are taking a caution. They come to the consultant for pre-booking advice also. So if we know all these things, we can guide the allottee in a proper manner, saying this, see, these are the deviation, you decide now what you want to do. Yeah, the most important is there has to be a date of possession. If there is no date of possession, then again it's a deviation, because in past under MOFA agreement, many developers have not provided date of possession. It is kept blank. So you can't have indefinite date of possession. There are n number of judicial pronouncement by Supreme Court also, which says that the reasonable period should be 3 years. But again, it varies because that judgment was earlier one, which was to tackle 7-8 storied building. But if I want to construct 60 storied building, then 3 years may not be sufficient. So again, it has to be a reasonable period. It cannot be indefinite period. But now here the difficulty comes, because many developers, they write many things for after possession date, say automatic extension of 6 months, which was there in MOFA, but not in RERA. So that is also not permitted. Then they say non-availability of material, water shortage. Actually, in Thane Municipal Corporation in 2018-19, there was acute shortage of the water. And the High Court has to give the order to the Thane Municipal Corporation not to issue commencement certificate any further till this resolves. So for a particular period, the commencement certificate were not issued, which has resulted in delay. So that water shortage was there. Like so, there can be n number of reasons which developers are quoting. Material non-availability, then water shortage, and so on. But now what MahaRERA, and this is the area where the major query comes. Even after writing all that thing, what the legal section of the MahaRERA says, no, we will not allow anything over this writing. Now, this writing they have copied from section 6 of the RERA, which relates to the extension of the project for 1 year, that too with force majeure. We were all under impression that that extension is automatic, but it was not so. You have to prove your factors which are beyond your control. But generally, MahaRERA has been liberal in granting extension of 1 year without asking anything. But now they say you have to have this writing only, otherwise they will straight away throw a query, okay, your possession clause is not matching. So many of the consultants have received this query. So again, developer says, no, I want to write non-availability of material, then earthquake and all these things. So now that is covered under Act of God. War in now what is a war, civil commotion, Act of God, any notice of government and all these things. But then other items are not, like there is a strike by a particular labor department and so on. So then again that cannot be taken as a force. See, the builder may take a excuse that my bank account were attached by income tax department and I was unable to make payment to supplier. That is your issue. This cannot be your force majeure. This is what now MahaRERA says. Yeah. Now, one more item is structural defect and poor quality workmanship. So now under MOFA, we had the provision of 3 years that after taking the possession, again here, what do you mean by after taking the possession? Say for example, builder announced possession to all the allottee in say November 2022. But one of the allottee takes the possession in say November 2023. Whether that period of 5 years is to be counted from November 23 or November 22. To my mind, it should be counted from November 22 because that was the date where the apartment was available for possession with valid OC and so on, and it was available to all. If there is a delay from allottee side, then he cannot take that excuse. So this 5 years is to be counted from the date of declaration of the possession, where allottee takes the possession. So here, this clause allows the allottee to claim the leakage and poor quality work, etc. compensation. They can certainly do it. But now many developers under this clause, they had the writing that if the allottee make any changes in the flat, then this clause is not applicable. Now it cannot happen that we buy a house and we do not make any changes. We may change tiles, we may change flooring, and there are instances where flooring of the bathrooms are changed and there is a leakage in the downside apartment. So again, this issue, now there is one representation which allottee has to give in the agreement. So that is covered by that representation. So if allottee make any changes, then this clause will not be applicable. Right? Then formation of the society or company or the condominium of the apartment. Now this choice is available not with the allottee. This choice is available with the promoter. Allottee cannot say I want society only. It is the prerogative of the promoter whether he wants to form society, he wants to form condominium. Association means under Ownership Apartment Act and limited company where I will issue the shares. So this is to be decided by promoter and not by the allottee. So here again, we have to choose any item. So that could be one deviation. Then MahaRERA says that, say in case of a layout structure, if there are 6 buildings, so once I complete building number 1, then I have to transfer the right title interest of the structure of the building. Now again, this is a legal area where many of the legal counsel are of the opinion that this is not possible. The transfer of conveyance in part is not possible. That has to be done at the end only. So again, here many developers write that conveyance would be done only after completion of the entire project. So this could be, we have to highlight this, that's all. But these are allowed. This can be highlighted. Now, there are other charges which developer takes on possession. Say, for example, share money, formation of the society expenses, apex body formation charges, then monthly contribution for 1 year, 2 year, water, electricity deposit, and so on, substation charges, clubhouse charges. So again, these are the 6 items listed here. So if developer want to charge anything beyond this 6 items, then that would be a deviation. He has to mention, he has to color mark it. Again, for quantum of rupees, there is no restriction because these items are kept blank. So the MahaRERA will not come in a commercial between the two person. But if anything is there beyond this 6 items, then again deviation will come. Right? So suppose here swimming pool is not there, clubhouse is not there, garden is not there. So all that will come depending upon the particular point. Yeah. Yeah. So this was the representation which I was quoting. It has to be given by the allottee to carry out at his own cost all internal repairs in the apartment, maintain the apartment in the same condition which was delivered by the promoter, and shall not do suffer to be done anything. Suffer to be done anything by the which has been given by the promoter. So here he cannot demolish any wall, and all these representation are there, which is going to affect the structure of the building, structure of the apartment, right? So either he has to take the prior consent of the promoter, right? So again, that structural defect would get limited by this. Who is there? Whose voice is there?
Vaibhavji, kindly mute yourself. Vaibhavji.
Okay, okay. Now here, the promoter is required to maintain a separate account. That RERA designated account is one separate account where the principal consideration is deposited. But if promoter gets anything else except GST and all these things, but like society charges or what that 6 items are there, then he has to maintain a separate account, and for all society related amount like maintenance charges, then he has to hand it over that account to the society on handover, right? So this account is also required to be separately maintained. In practice, we have seen that in many cases this has not been done. So it is, as a chartered accountant, it is our duty, even in income tax also, we can be able to bifurcate the current liability and the revenue separately if we maintain this account, right? Yeah. Now, after the flat is allotted or apartment is booked by the allottee, no mortgage on that particular apartment can be done, right? Now here we have one interesting judgment of the Supreme Court in Rajasthan matter, wherein it was held that which will prevail, RERA or SURFACing, in case of mortgage created by the secured creditor on the project land and for project finance to the developer. So this is slightly away from this particular clause, but I'll just mention it. So there the Supreme Court has held that if the High Court Rajasthan has held this and Supreme Court has confirmed this, okay, if the mortgage is created after RERA, then the RERA will prevail and not the SURFACing. So there the protection is available. But if it is prior to RERA, then the SURFACing would prevail because both are special act and accordingly. But if there is some fraud, and even though the mortgage is created prior to RERA, then RERA will. This is the decision. I just wanted to bring to your notice. Then we have a very important item, that is dispute resolution. How the dispute between the promoter and allottee would get settled. So now after RERA, this clause is there. Okay, now we have conciliation forum also. Allottee can file either solely a conciliation complaint or a regular complaint, but everything then goes to conciliation for if they decide so. So here the dispute will go to the either conciliation or the RERA authority. But prior to RERA, the arbitration was there. So now in one of our case only, I was representing the promoter, and the promoter solicitor sent me the agreement for sale, wherein there was an arbitration clause just now, 3-4 months back. So then I raised the query to the promoter saying that this may not be permitted because after RERA, this arbitration cannot come because RERA has the sole authority to decide the complaint and conciliation. But then they said, okay, let us file it. Then I filed it with deviation also, color mark, everything. I was expecting query to come, but to my surprise, that query never came, and our things went forward and we got the number. Now the logic behind query not coming may be that these are the forum which are available to either allottee or the promoter. Say, for example, arbitration, consumer forum, or even insolvency code, IBC area. Now, these are the forum and RERA. These 4 forum are available. So, this is the choice of the parties to the contract. So, I can go to arbitration also, I can go to IBC also, I can go to consumer forum also, I can go to RERA also, right? But I cannot go to civil court. Yes, these all are not civil court. These are all below the civil court. I cannot go to court. So if I want to go to court, then RERA has the jurisdiction. So that's why, to my mind, that no query was raised on that arbitration. But again, we have one judgment recently wherein the learned chairperson has held that if there is a clause in the agreement about arbitration, then RERA does not have jurisdiction. Here the case was that allottee selected the RERA forum for complaint. So it is the choice of the allottee and not the choice of the authority. But somehow that judgment is like this, which is now challenged in the tribunal. Now let us see what comes after the judicial journey, whether this choice is available to the parties or it's a thrust upon the other. To my mind, that choice is available between the parties. They can certainly approach any, even today in under IBC also, if say for example there are sold unit of say 50 units, then 10% of that sold unit, that is more than 10, more than 5, that is 6%, can file IBC petition against that particular corporate entity if they desire. So no one can stop. So though RERA is there, no one can stop one to go in IBC or arbitration or consumer. So this is all about model agreement. Now I will go through some of the I'll come to my PPT, and if any uncovered item is there, we can cover it. Yeah, important deviation. I think I have covered majority of the items. I'll just pricing pattern we have already covered. Price inclusive, exclusive, other area I have already covered while showing the variation in payment schedule, escalation clause, rebate for early payment. Now there is one clause for rebate for early payment. Now these are all commercial thing. One can certainly have the rebates. Variation, possession, carpet area. FSI declare blanket permission for future changes. Now this is not permitted. You can't have the blanket permission. Okay, all the FSI will belong to me. This is what manner of termination, extension clause, structural association of allottees, conveyance process. We have covered all these things. Manner of taking possession. So sometime in the model agreement, after the notice is given by the developer, within 15 days allottee has to take. So that days can be it's variable, but you have to provide in your deviation. Additional charge, representation of promoter or allottee we have seen. Conciliation arbitration also we have seen. Any other deviation, if there are any other, apart from these clauses, if there are any other clauses put up by the developer, then that is also a deviation. One has to pinpoint. So now we advise our client, you take the model agreement, go by para to para, and if you feel that some additional points are there, you can have it, but don't change the para numbers in your agreement and model. Again, in allotment letter also pricing pattern similar, because these are all contracts, escalation clause, rebate, forfeiture. Again, this is all repetition, modality of execution of agreement. Yeah. So friends, with this, I have tried to cover the today's topic, that is the issues coming while registering the project, more particularly on deviation of the agreement for send and allotment letter. Because many of the consultant, I am getting many calls from remote of the area. We are not able to understand this. And again, now that 25% and 40% fine on the project registration fees is again a big issue, because the client will always tell the chartered accountant who is handling the project registration, boss, it is your lookout. I have nothing to do this. So if any penalty comes, then again we are in trouble. So we need to be very careful. Yes, there is a difficulty for remote areas because they cannot approach MahaRERA. So for that we need to represent. They should have some proper helpline. They should allow more open houses. If today they have provided only one open house, we can have 2 open house requests and so on. So with this, I conclude my talk. If any questions are there, we can certainly take up the questions.
Ashwin sir, Vinay here from Bangalore.
Yeah, boliye.
Yes sir. Sir, Maharashtra also has shared some of the allotment letter format.
Yes. Shall I show you?
Yeah, please sir.
Yes, I'll show you. Order 35. This is the last order. Yeah, so this is the annexer 1 model allotment. Now what again it says, it has to be uploaded. It shall be
Sir, you have
mandatory.
to, is this open, sir? I can see your screen with the PDF document file.
Yeah, so are you able to see allotment letter?
No, sir.
No, we can see your folder, sir.
Okay. 1 minute.
Yeah. I think you have to click on it.
Now it is
And
visible.
share. No,
Now
sir,
it
you
is-
have to click and open share.
Yeah, now it is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is the allotment letter.
Yeah.
It has your request, allotment of the unit.
Yeah.
So these are the clause relating to prices, allotment of unit, garage, Now see allotment of open parking. We
Yes,
have
sir.
pleasure
This is
to
the
in-
one thing, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this
So-
okay?
No, see right now by this order, MahaRERA is saying that this open parking is allotted to you without consideration. Now see what happens. 1 minute, I'll just have water. See, we have to look at first the approved plan. What are the conditions in that approved plan as
Okay.
regards the allotment of parking?
Hmm.
In Mumbai, we have scenario where 1 BHK need not have any parking. 2
Okay.
BHK will have some parking. Say for example, there are 52 BHK, then there are conditions at least 30 should be allotted to 2 BHK. So not
Hmm.
all to one nahi. But for 3 BHK, they say at least one parking for each flat. So again, you have to look at the approved plan. But as regards this open parking, I don't think any approved plan has any such condition for allotment of open parking. So if it is not there, then developer cannot allot open parking even without consideration. And it has to go to the society. So there are so many litigation going on. Later
Okay.
on, society will reclaim all this booking. And but this order is there, but this order may not be helpful because you can't go beyond the rules. Rules very clearly provide that covered parking. Even we have one famous judgment of Nahalchand Laluchand in Maharashtra that relates to MOFA, not to RERA. So
Okay.
there also Supreme Court has held that open parking cannot be touched. Covered parking can be done. You can recover the cost of construction of the covered parking, because nowadays for puzzle parking, for steel parking, there are costs. So that judgment of Supreme Court was in the context of MOFA under Maharashtra. For your
Okay.
Bangalore, again we have to look what is the provision for your Bangalore this thing. So one has to look at the provisions of the plan. But so far as open parking is there, I'm doubtful.
Ashwin sir, where we are coming from is in terms of the PMAY schemes. Okay, Prime Minister Awas Yojana scheme,
Yes.
where there are no basements. When there are no basements and there are no stilt parking, so there is a larger open area of parking which is mentioned as part of the project. Okay, in that case, obviously there would be some cost of the construction if for the purpose of car. Okay, as you mentioned that like I cannot differentiate the 2 BHK, 1 BHK. If 2 BHK I have to issue it. Then question is, should I give it and including as part of my normal consideration, or should I consider this as a separate consideration?
See, so far as open parking is there, which is open to sky, which is not a podium parking. Again, podium parking is open to sky, but that is not open parking. That is a because you have to incur cost for that. Open parking means those which are attached to land.
Okay, that's
So
how we
that
should
cannot
also.
that cannot be allotted. Now, as regards charging the price for car parking, even after that Supreme Court judgment in Nahalchand, this thing, generally we advise our client not to show a separate pricing for the car parking. You have a box pricing.
Yeah.
So tomorrow, yeah. So this is the allotment letter, which also contains the similar information, somewhat say encumbrance and all these things which are there.
Yeah.
See, this is the condition.
Yeah.
Now in this allotment letter, they say the amount deducted shall not exceed amount may mention in the table above. So allotment letter they have not changed, but they have changed that guidance where promoter cannot go beyond 2%. So again, this would be a confusion whether or with deviation can I increase the percentage?
Exactly. So this is a one of contention also.
मिनेश जी आप म्यूट करिए. मिनेश जी, आपको अगर क्वेश्चन है तो प्लीज अनम्यूट इट, अदरवाइज कीप. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a one more confusion, sir, in terms of the cancellation. 2% of the cost of the said unit, like they're restricting only the 2%. Many a time we incur more than 2% for the purpose of marketing or the booking.
Yes, certainly. Because in one of the judgment, it has been held that the reasonable could be 4 to 5%.
Okay.
Because I could not remember that judgment. It is very old judgment, but it says that 4 to 5% can be reasonable. It can be higher also. For say many branded company, it can be higher also because their cost of marketing is too high. We have the concept
Okay.
of development manager, where they charge 15% of the gross sale as a development manager fees. So that is also a loss to the developer once the booking is cancelled. So they also have the clause. Once the booking is cancelled and anything new done, then that would be a separately counted.
Yeah.
So again, to my mind, one can change this percentage with, but you have to highlight the deviation.
Okay.
You can do it. It's a commercial contract between two persons.
Exactly.
Yes. So, but these are normal things. Confirmation.
And also they mentioned annexer, annexer A and annexer B is mentioned, sir. Because if you see stage-wise schedule and completion of the project is there.
Yeah. That is also there. You have to provide stage-wise schedule because that is one of the rule of MahaRERA, where you have to provide. It is not only that you just give one timeline, 2028, but between 22 to 28, how you are going to progress, that is also required to be. So now that is available in allotment letter. Payment schedule and stage-wise schedule.
Okay. So one of the practical case, sir, one of the larger builder has given about 2024 December as the end date of the project. And for whatever be the reason, he has completed in is completing in December 22 itself, 2 years higher than the agreement date.
Okay.
So he is directing all the customers to pay and take the possession of it.
Yeah. So here again, there is a issue. If you do not have a proper drafting in your agreement, see, these are my timeline. But if that's why that event-wise timeline is very important. We say after completion of 6 slab, or on this date or this much amount or percentage. So if I write up that event, then I am able to raise the demand notice. So again, our drafting should be proper.
Because the allottees contention now they started telling that like see we have planned to move at 2024. Now you made it at 2022. So I have to change my complete plan of my kids' education.
Yes. The allottee has his own concern because he has planned his affairs in such a way. He might be selling his old house after say 2 years. Hello.
Yes, sir.
So he may be he may be selling his old house after 2 years in 24. But now if developer says you take the possession today, it would be difficult for allottee. So these are
any decided cases in this line?
No, there are no such. It all depends on your terms of contract. If your terms of contract are not clear, then you cannot force allottee to take the possession.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Anyone else want to?
Yes, sir. Sir, is there any specific format for deviation report? Or it should be given on letterhead and signed by the promoter?
Yes, basically it should be on letterhead. You have to mention para, subject matter of that para, and then you have to highlight in color the agreement for sale, and that agreement for sale also should be uploaded in deviation. So you have to do 2 things. One is you have to highlight in color, and then you have the letterhead with para number and subject.
Sir, and it should be given at the time of registration only, or once I got that registration certificate. Suppose now deviation report, I got the registration certificate, but there are some deviations. So now I need to upload that deviations, or it's okay now?
See, as per the obligation, you are required to upload it. But today, nobody is going to ask you unless you go to MahaRERA for some application for change or application for extension. So at that time, this compulsory mark document has to be uploaded. But even today also, it is your obligation to, because this is a crucial document and allottee nowadays are well informed. They will ask you, where is the deviation report? We want to see that. We want to see that. So as such, it is an obligation because it is now given by way of an order. But nobody is going to ask today from MahaRERA side till you file some application for change or extension. Now there is one query. We'll just go through chat box. I'll just go through. Where do we get models agreement? It is there. See, if you download the rules, so in rules there is one annexer A which has the, so you have to download the rules, MahaRERA rules 2017, right? And this model allotment letter is there in order 35. Can you share the pro forma allotment letter that is available in order 35? Same. Have you mentioned alteration clause not in agreement format? I did not get this query. What kind of alteration? Feedback is always in. Any format?
Ashwin sir, I think Vaibhav Modi has mentioned anyone, in terms of any change required, once approved by the authority, can I modify the agreement clauses?
See, today I am saying that I am adopting the model agreement. And then I have to upload one letterhead. On my letter, I have to say that there are no changes. I have adopted model agreement. Hence, there is no deviation. So this I can do today. Tomorrow, I feel I want to do some deviation. So today, I have done this. I have adopted model agreement, and say after 6 months. But if in between this 6 months, I have executed 5 agreements. So I need to follow this only. But tomorrow, if I want to change my model, my agreement, I can do it. It's my decision. But my obligation towards the earlier allottee would remain, or those who have relied upon my agreement. Now it may happen you have shared the draft agreement to the allottee, because nowadays allottee asks for the this thing. So then some difficulty may come, because suppose I have booked the flat in January and you change in May, and now I am registering in June. So then can you tell me that now I have to register as per new format and not old format? Then I will say, no, I have relied upon your old agreement. So again, that would be a area of dispute. So if I am accepting a fresh booking after May, then there is no issue. But so far as the booking accepted prior to that, then you have to again take into confidence the allottee. This is the new format. You want to go in new format or old format?
Okay.
So
Okay.
because
And you want to ask
your contract starts from the booking, not from the execution of agreement.
Agreement, understood. Thank you.
Anand, you want to ask question? Bhavesh?
Sir, what if we use that model allotment letter only and model allotment agreement only? Then in that case there is no deviation.
There is no deviation. You just file one declaration on your letterhead. We have adopted this thing and there is no deviation. Simple.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
So I think
good afternoon, sir.
last question.
This is Bhavesh here. Yeah, this is Bhavesh here.
Yeah,
Sir,
Bhavesh.
regarding the deviation to be submitted while the registration, is there any specific format? As you said it, that I have to just note it down and highlight it in the colors for the deviations marked out.
Yes.
However, what I observed when there was one filing which happened post-August when this order came, they had made me run post and pillar to first give it in horizontal way, then give it in vertical way, then give it the clause as per the pro forma, as per the model agreement, as per your agreement, and so on. So is that matter settled out? Because unnecessarily that had taken around 3 to 4 weeks.
No. Now I think it is settled. Now what they say, you need to do 2 things. See, as per order, you have to do only one thing, that is color mark. But now they say on your letterhead, you put up the para and point out what are the subject matter, and that's all. That's you can do. That's what we are doing, and it has been approved. Recently, we have done it.
That's also we did it. We did it on our letterhead. So then there was a criteria that when we gave it into a explanatory mode, they said give it in vertical mode, giving side by side what was the para as per the model agreement, what was the para as per your
See,
listing.
again,
So
this is
what-
the
Yeah.
issue qua officer. Again, if there is a change in officer, so again
Yeah.
that issue will come. But this would be sufficient if you color mark it and then highlight on the letterhead para number and subject matter. So if they want to see,
Okay, fine.
suppose there is a change in the forfeiture termination clause, so you just mention deviation in termination clause. This is the para number. So they will look at it. You can
No,
provide
that is-
your para number as well as para number of the model. That can differ. So you can have para number as per model agreement and para number as per your agreement. That much you can do.
So that was the thing. Basically, that's what it was being done. Then it was being told that you know, notify it out the para
No,
number,
No,
and
I
that's
think
how the things
now I
worked
think
out.
things are settled. They have understood
Yeah.
it. They can refer it. So what they want
Okay.
is they should be easily able to identify the deviation. That's all.
Okay, fine, perfect. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, Vaibhav.
Yes, sir. I think and we'll go to our next closing session. So it is my privilege to propose a vote of thanks. I, CA Vemu Modi, on behalf of the Forum of RERA Practitioners Chartered Accountants of India, would like to thank CA Sunil Naik sir, CA Ashwin sir, CA Ramesh Prabhu sir, CA Aditya for giving me opportunity to propose vote of thanks. In the fast-paced changes in RERA with adherence to stringent registration norms, now it has become inevitable to every practitioner to understand in depth all the practical aspects of the RERA registration. Today, we had a very wonderful speaker, and if you use word RERA, then only few names like CA Ashwin sir will be the first preference to speak on. Is very well closely working with RERA authority. It was discussion amongst us that CA can play a very vital role, and we should help them to understand the intricacies of each aspect which are relevant in RERA. Hence, all the senior CA RERA practitioner agreed to come together and depart the knowledge through webinar firstly and through this CA reality group. I would like to thank Ashwin sir. Your speech was inspiring and well guiding towards achieving the common goal in perfect manner of understanding what problem we are facing in deviation of the agreement. If there is a deviation, what should be? You have cleared all the questions which were in our mind. And yes, many questions are still unanswered due to limitation of time. But we assure our audience that these kind of sessions will be taken frequently by the forum. You covered, sir, what are the important element of the agreement. You also covered what deviations are allowed, up to what extent, and what are not allowed. So we hereby conclude our today's session. I request everyone to give your feedback suggestions. Link is being given in the chat box. Please give us the feedback. Once again, we request everyone who is not in our WhatsApp group, kindly fill the form so we can connect with you and take you in the group, and you will be well updated with the knowledge of the RERA. Thank you everyone for your valuable presence. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Please
Vaibhav.
fill the suggestion form. Thank you everyone.
Thank you.
I will again. Huh?